hope and despair, they are the roller coaster that make life go on, right? They're also the roller coaster that creates your book and makes the reader really engaged and connected. You have both big moments of hope and despair and little teeny, 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 tiny ones because it creates that constant up, down, up, down, up, down. Will it work out? Will it not work out? If you look at, say, The Wizard of Oz, there is a huge moment of hope for Dorothy once she lands in Oz and Glinda the Good Witch tells her, as long as you take the yellow brick road, it will take you to the wizard and he will get you home. So throughout 3/4 of that movie, she's like, yes, I have this hope at the end of the yellow brick road where I can find the wizard and go home. She gets to the wizard and he tells her, sorry, it's all smoke and mirrors. I can't do anything. And so there is a huge moment of despair. So you can see that roller coaster, hope, despair, hope, despair. Then there are really teeny tiny ones, like when she meets the Tin Man. Boom, she's met a friend. He seems really nice. He's friendly. Maybe he can help her on this journey. That's hope. And then the despair, he can't move. Hope, she finds the oil can. Despair, because it doesn't work right away. When she meets the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wicked Witch threatens her, there's despair. And then when she confronts the Wicked Witch and she throws the water on her, there's hope. I'm trying to create these constant up, down moments in your book, and you want to have them continually throughout the book, not just one on page 52 and another one on page 75. You're creating a roller coaster, a constant roller coaster of things are going well, things are going wrong, things are going well, things are going wrong, up and down, up and down, up and down. Let me show you an example of that from First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. And this book is one that I talked about in another video that I talked about the CARE method, character, action, reaction, emotional impact. And here I'm talking about the fourth part a little bit more, that emotional impact where you're going to create both hope, where it goes really well, and despair, where it doesn't. So go back and watch that CARE video if you haven't, because it talks about creating more suspense and higher stakes in your scene on a tiny micro level. And when you can do it on the micro level, all of those little micro levels add up to a much more suspenseful ending to the scene. Now let me take a little example from Ashley Elston's book, First Lie Wins, which I really enjoyed because she did a great job with backstory and a great job with keeping the stakes high throughout the whole book, and show you how she does that in the very first chapter. In the CARE video, I talked about the first part of this scene where Evie is trying to impress Ryan's friends so that she can pull off this big con. She wants Ryan's friends to think she's great and to not see her for who she really is, a con artist who isn't what Ryan thinks. Now we're at the end of the scene, and Evie has a moment of hope because she realizes that she has pulled it off. And she says to Ryan, I totally nailed it. And he reinforces that. They loved you, he whispers. So there's that moment of hope. Woof, pulled it off, went well. But then right after that happens, she has a teeny tiny moment of despair because next she thinks that every woman in their group text message chain is picking apart every aspect of the night and the search bar on every social media site, trying to track down exactly who I am and what small town in Alabama I came from. So she knows, even though it went really well, that there is going to be a search and she wants to make sure that her credentials hold up. Then it gets a little bit more despair because Ryan says, they texted me and they want to have lunch with you next week. Now you'd think that would be a good thing, but not for Evie because she is a con artist trying to hide her real identity. And so in her introspection, we see that little bit of despair. So now there will be a lunch where the questions will be more direct because Ryan won't be there to make sure they're not. And so now everything that she's working for could be picked apart and she could totally fail. So hope, despair, hope, despair. It went well, but now there's this other problem. That's also a great way to end a scene. When you get to the end of a scene, the character either achieves their goal or they don't, but either way, things get worse. That's something I've talked about in all of my scene and sequel videos. This is talking about it on a micro level, about how you can show the character's hope that, woo, it's going to work out really well, and then their despair that, oh no, I've now got a bigger thing going on. And if you can learn to do that, every few paragraphs, you can create that micro action with that micro hope, and then the new micro action with the micro despair. You create this constant churning in the reader's gut of trying to figure out if things are going to work out or not. It's a great technique to use in a romance novel or a suspense novel or a thriller because those are the ones where you really want the reader going, oh my gosh, is this going to be okay? Is this going to be okay? You can also obviously use it in fantasy or any other genre that you want because your whole goal as an author is to keep the reader worried, because when the reader is worried, the reader turns the pages. If you want more on digging into the bigger concepts of a scene, I highly recommend my masterclass on scenes. This is like a 45-minute video where I talk about exactly what a scene has in it, and I dissect one of my own scenes word by word, like literally every word in the scene, why it exists, what it does for the reader, and how it brings it all together.